What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Boosted Jaden YouTube channel. Today we're going to install something that I think that the car needs pretty urgently if I'm going to be using it, an under the seat subwoofer. Let's get into it. For today's sub install, we've got an Alpine subwoofer, which is pretty cool because Alpine matches the brand of speakers fitted to TM. See, Alpine? I presume that would mean that the Alpines, without pulling the panel off, I wouldn't know. But what I will say about this car is the speakers and the head unit are good. Like, they're really good. So I think that this little under the seat sub will do the job just fine. And it's a different sort of sub, like, it comes out the front there. So it's quite a flash little unit, accompanied by her very own like power amp, so that's pretty cool. And then it's got the controller, which is right here, upside down, which is quite a flash looking controller. And then we've got the cabling, which I've had to make up a whole new harness. It was lucky for me that when we did the wiring removal in the Daily Swift, it had this fuse holder plug and that for a sub, and I had to clip it on right here because there was no other way of doing it really. And then I found that the fuse was blowing, so I've already taken the time to go to the auto parts store, get new fuses, get more cable, get more clampy, clippy terminal things, crimps, whatever. And then I had to go and get a new set of RCAs because the sub didn't come with one. So this is today's job, to put this in. And then in the car, we're going to have to remove the driver's seat. We're going to have to remove the aluminium floor plate and work on it from there. We're also going to have to pull the glove box and push the stereo out from behind. And then we should have all the access we need to get this done. So I'm going to start by unbolting the seat and then the floor mat, and probably that floor pedal, because we'll have to lift the carpet up a little bit to be able to do it. You want to start by taking an 8mm socket and be extremely careful of the bolts. There's 4 of them in total, 2 in the back, 2 in the front, and because they're easy to thread, I recommend that anyone uses the correct tool, which is the star tool. Not always available. If you have to use the 8mm, just be careful you don't thread them. It wouldn't be a bad idea to actually disconnect the battery, because last thing you're going to want is for power to be going to stuff. So I reckon just disconnecting the negative should be enough, and you just want to make sure that it's out of the way of that terminal like that. Now that we have the seat removed, well, unbolted, we're going to remove the little connectors that are underneath it. However you do that, I've never done it. And now we should be able to pull our seat out. Here's how far I've made it. We got the floor pan out, we got the footrest out, we got all the plastic around the cage out, which was a bit of a mish. We got our, this is what I mean with the seat bed. See this wire here? That's not factory, I just tucked it in, but it looked like maybe someone had modified it. Actually, when the previous owner imported it, it had bucket seats in it. I presume that's why. That's alright, looks like a tidy repair job. We've got no center console, no glove box. I've already pointed out the wires, which are down here actually. It's got this little plug and play harness. Check this out though, we've got these 2 wires weren't even, they were just like taped together. So I don't know what that was all about, but for some reason it was disconnected. But this is the blue and white is antenna remote. This one's just a blue. but it's with the power cable, so I presume it's the right one. So I'm gonna clean those up a bit, and then we're gonna clamp on this wire. So this one will go on there. Okay, so we're gonna take our harness, which is a plug and play harness. We're gonna put our little crimpy connector on it. Make sure that your ends are good. Cut good, slice good. You know, make sure that they're not too long. Kind of put it on, and then go to your colour that it is, and in my case it's the top one, and just crimp it down. Okay, and now we have antenna remote to run down to the car. Next and then we'll run our RCAs at the exact same time. So I'll just undo the things on them, so then we're all ready for when they do. And I think that we will use those two for the end that connects into the wiring, so it'll be those two. And then that end will go into the stereo, most likely. And it's got these little tab things to stop it from breaking and splitting. So I quite like that. And then with this wiring, we're going to end up crimping that onto that power wire. Well, pretty self-explanatory what we're doing with that one. However, we will cut it and do another join on that, because that has to go into the engine bay. This harness comes like this, and then the rest is earth, which will hook up to its very own independent. Let's go into the engine bay. I probably shouldn't do this, but I'm going to take a screwdriver and I'm going to poke it through the rubber grommet, which you won't be able to see it unfortunately, because I can barely even see it. Looks like we're just going to have to take this whole annoying bloody cover off it just to get one wire in. What a big pain in the Bahamas. Like, I know that it's fucking popular, but like, this is fucking ridiculous. From an owner's point of view, it's fucking hard to work on. Alright everyone, so I've come back and the oil catch can's on a bit sideways. The sun's really bright, hence the reason I stopped filming. But what I did was I calmed down a little bit and then took that plate off, just like I said, that one. Took it off. I had to unmount this oil catch tank thing, which I don't know if I did it right, but that's how I did it. And then the yellow wire straight through the grommet, and we'll run it at the back here somewhere. A lot of funny looking wires though underneath the hood. And then if we go to the interior, that's our cable for our sub. Now that the cable's all on and nice and tidy, which I'll show you, so down into the grommet down there, it's hooked onto a tie there, and then it runs up to the battery. We've got our, we want to pull it through until we get it into here, and then these kind of just, this one went to this one, and this one went to this one. So we've got our blue remote wire, we've got our wire down here. We're gonna need an RCA as well. So we're gonna feed that up through here, I think, and get it to here. And we're now gonna take our yellow, which is here. It's gonna run under this piece of carpet. And then it's gonna go down under this piece, and I'm hoping that I should be able to reach it through. Yep. And then we pull it through so that it's underneath the carpet. Even though they probably don't even need to be in this far, but they're going to be a part of the harness, so may as well just shove them in there. And then there's our RCAs. Pull these all the way through. Now we're going to take our plug and we're going to have to connect things up. So we've got our red one. For the red one, I think we're probably going to use a blue cable. Get it in there like, say, there, and crimp that down, and then when all else fails, put it in there, put that side in, and crimp it down quickly. And then do the other side, just like that. And then our wires, so red would go into red, and well, right will go into that one. And then we just take some tape. Now that all of our cables all nice and corded up all nicely, all taped up together really good, what we're gonna do is we're gonna sit our little sub, right after I get in it, I'm gonna sit the sub, I'm gonna sit on the back seat, and I'm gonna sit the sub here. What is all this additional wiring? I wonder. I might just quickly undo these cable ties and see what is it that's behind here. Now that we have gotten everything else sorted, we can now look to wire it up. So I shortened this wire because it actually had an extension cable on it. So we can put that sort of like there, and then we can have our little power supply. So this one plugs into that one, and then that one will tuck up back around there, and then that one will go like that, and then we have our little one that comes in and plugs in there, straight into there, and then we should be able to get all of our power down there. If we shove that one in there and then that one right on top of it, or we could do it the other way, and then we know that it's going to sit there like that. And then we've got our two connectors still that sit under the seat, so that one and that one. And then I'm just going to take all these cable ties that I've broken, tools, and then we're ready to put the put the seat back in it, and then its head unit. And then we need to maneuver it. Oh, this is so. Pull our seat forwards. And then there's our bolt holes. So I am gonna, oh no, We need to put the seat harness and airbag back in, which don't forget those. Now that we've got all of our bolts for the seat in, we're now going to take our unit here, and there's a lot to plug in here, and I've got to make sure I plug them all correctly in. Okay, and now, no, that one needs to come off because it's far too tight that way and it needs to go that way. Oh, and then we better actually hook up the main stereo or nothing's going to work. And then it should just be our little plug for our hazards back, which I've always forgotten every time I've taken one of these apart. Oh, I hate it when I'm not extra super careful. Now we're ready for some power to see what it does. Now we need to change the fuse because it did have a blow-in fuse. So I'm gonna put our new fuse there. We're gonna open this up and we're gonna pull out the current 10 amp, which is blowing. And then I'm gonna hook this up to there using a 10mm. Needs must. Get them all clamped on and then get it screwed on. Tighten it up this way. That should be more than tight enough. I mean, it ain't coming off. And now we want to put our fuse in. That is our new fuse, and then put the little cover over it, and then it'll just sit there like that. And this one will just clip over the top of it, and then same thing with the negative, just tighten the terminal because you don't want a loose connection, or you don't want to be like me and forget to do it later. Alright everyone, so I've managed to install the whole underseat sub, and I'm going to try something. So I'm going to pop the hood holding the camera, and then I'm going to put yours up over it a second and see if I can capture, you know, better content. So I'm using a different camera now. So this is new recording, the rest of your video will be old recording. And then, so what happened with the sub, you might ask, because I cut it a little bit short. Well, wires started getting annoying and, you know, all sorts of stuff started going wrong. But forgive the music, don't knock me into YouTube either. But we've got the sub controller mounted right here. Whole inside back together apart from the glove box. But that's alright. And then we've got, if we jump out of it a second and go back in, it's under here like this. And then you can see the sub. The wire. You probably can't see it. through it. Alright, and that's enough. So we know that it works, and we know that it works well. I opted to put the controller right here, right underneath the switch really. It doesn't need to be hidden or anything. It's not a secret, it's just an under the seat sub. There's no need for people to hide these in their cars. Like, it's not necessary. Like, who cares if you have an under the seat sub? In my opinion, these under the seat subs are hopeless, useless. They don't do a lot, but Alpine, and then underneath there you can see Alpine, which means, and this is an individual thing, I'm hoping that the previous owner is watching this video, and bro, I did keep the brands matching. I took a page out of your book and I kept it matching, so I'm proud of that. So yes, we got a whole under the seat sub fitted, and it's okay. I mean, it's not an 1800 watt like that one, but I mean, it's a sub and it works. So with that, I think that's a win. Alright everyone, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed the sub installation on the TM Swift. If you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. Also, follow me on Instagram if you're not already. The link will be on the screen and in the description box. Also, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I'll catch you in the next video.